Well, hello and welcome. My name is Velma. You can connect with me at velmaknowles.com. This is all about your leadership chat. What does that mean? You get to listen in on valuable insights from valuable leaders just like you. I want to encourage you to go ahead and subscribe so that you never miss another episode. And if this is of value to you, please share the nuggets that you're going to take away from all these great leaders. It is my honor and just privilege to be able to bring to you none other than the valuable leader, Jim Ewell. Jim, welcome to your leadership chat.
Thank you, Velma. I'm so happy to be here, and it's a privilege and an honor to be here chatting with you today.
Oh, this is so super. So tell us a little bit about you. I mean, I know, and I don't want to do a spoiler alert on anything, but just tell those that are listening a little bit about Jim.
Yeah, so I live here in Southern California. For the past 27 years, I've actually worked. My day job originally was as a police officer, and so I've been a police sergeant for, oh my gosh, probably 15, 16 years.
Right.
And I would say about it was around 2010, 2011. I just got really fascinated and interested in the topic of leadership. And went and pursued my master's degree in it and organizational leadership. Just became so enamored with the topic. But I would have some professors that I'm like, this is just it's such a great topic, but they weren't making it come alive. And so I kind of started to sit back and go, like, it seems like this could be done better. Maybe there'd be a better way to deliver this very, very valuable content.
Right.
And so one day I reached out. Well, I had already graduated, and I reached out to my chair and asked, hey, what does it take to become a professor? What do you need to do?
Yeah.
And we just sat down, had a really nice lunch. It was probably about a 2-hour conversation. And he goes, hey, and this is like in fall. And he says, hey, in March, what are you doing? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I'd like to hire you. I'd like to hire you for our program. What's the program I graduated from?
Right.
So it was my first foray into teaching at the collegiate level, which was an absolutely amazing experience. And then what that did is it just kind of steamrolled into, many of the people that are getting their master's degrees and bachelor's degrees in leadership. They're executives, they're chief executives in organizations and in city government, county government, and developed really great relationships with them. And after a while, and after getting tired of grading multiple papers, said, you know what, I think maybe there could be more fun and a lot more freedom to be able to do things in coaching and consulting.
Yes.
So made a jump into that, enjoyed my time in academia, but then pulled away from that and got more into coaching and consulting. And so I am a Gallup certified strengths coach. And what that means is I have people take what's called the Clifton Strengths Finders Assessment. And they take this assessment that identifies their top talents. It's not a personality test. This is all about performance, how you get stuff done.
Right.
And that's what I do is I coach people on how to use the very best of them, their natural God-given talents, and how to use that to build the 4 things that people really need, which is trust, compassion, stability, and hope.
Oh, I love it. I love it. The 4 things everyone really needs: trust, compassion, hope, and
Stability.
stability.
Wow. Being a rock for people, being a resource. Not, that idea that you're not going to be this up and down, you're nice and kind and wonderful one day, or like when the storms happen, you get all chaotic. It's like, no, people need that stable resource, that rock, that you're authentic, you're genuine. There's a match between what you say you believe and how you act as a leader.
Yeah, no, absolutely. People need to have that consistency, right? If things are too much out of control or they feel that it is, so they need that person that's consistent, that they know what to expect when it's going to happen. So,
yeah,
well, also,
and those are the people you just keep going to over and over and over again because they're such a calming source.
Yes. Yeah. And so if for everyone listening, we all have to be on our good behavior, because not only do we have a law enforcement officer on this show, we also have,
by the way,
a
I'm a softie. I'm a softie. You don't have.
You're the softie. Okay, but we have that professor, and you know how tough your professors could be as well. But you love them anyway, right? They all have that good thing. Okay, so Jim, my first question is around. I know you have a passion for leadership. It's ignited in you. In fact, I want you to talk a little bit about who is a valuable leader in your life? Someone that's made or is making a big difference for you. Who's that person and why?
It was hard to narrow down because there's been so many people that have played a valuable role in my life.
Right.
I've got to narrow this one down though to a gentleman by the name of Rick Smith. And I met Rick, and this was probably back in maybe around 2010. No, I'm sorry, about 2011, 2012. And I was going to be on a training video regarding ethics. Sounds like a boring topic, but it was actually really a good, fun training training video. And so what they did was they put together these subject matter experts in the area of ethics, and we're going to create scenarios for some online training. One of the people there was Rick Smith. And Rick, he was there with, like a scarf on, had that little academic beret on, had his glasses. I'm like, wow, he looks very scholarly, and didn't think much of him at first. And he just came right over and he started chatting with me. And he's a professor. He was a professor over at the University of North Texas, and he and I just hit it off. And I think the reason why we hit it off was we really believe like ethics was oftentimes approached from a very boring, prescriptive approach. And we're like, no, there's a better way to teach this. There's a way to really make this subject matter come alive and be real and authentic, especially in a way that cops aren't rolling their eyes going, okay, yeah, and create like real scenarios. And so we just hit it off. And then from there, the best part was meeting his wife. And at that point in my life, I was kind of going through a spiritual awakening, and had transitioned from being raised a certain faith to just being called towards Christianity. It happens to be a very strong aspect of my life. And he just gave me some phenomenal advice on that, and just lifted me up and encouraged me. Just was so inspiring to me. Really, and then from there, we were separated for about a year, because he lives in Texas, so I live in California. And he was going to be working with the Dallas Police Department because they wanted to put in a mentoring program. And he says, Jim, I'd like you to come out here, and I want to put together a workshop with them to see if they are ready for a mentoring program. Because some people say they want it. You got to be ready for something like that. So you kind of got to do a cultural assessment to see, are we really in a place that we're ready to do this? Because you don't want this to be a program that comes, goes, and dies like other programs.
Check it off the list. Yeah.
And for a guy who's been in this industry, I mean, he has been the chief executive officer of police departments and in Texas, and then high up in academia. For him to call me out and say, no, I really think you have something valuable to bring these folks, and we tag teamed it, and it was such a great thing to do. But the best part is you never forget the people who say things like, I believe in you.
Yes.
And he was that person that said that. The people that say, I'm proud of you. You've got a gift. And he just filled me with so much confidence. And that's the thing, Velma, you never forget the people who built your confidence. In fact, when I talked about, we talked about trust earlier, like trust is not just truth and honesty. I know a lot of people that say things that are truthful or that they believe are truthful, and they're honest, but they said it like a jerk. And so, but that doesn't necessarily cause you to trust them or want to follow them. You follow those and trust. The best definition of trust I can give or think of is like, you trust people who have built your confidence. And that's what Rick did for me. He built my confidence. He caused me to believe that I could do this. And when someone does that, it causes you to want to get better, to learn more, and to master your craft in even a better way. And then he becomes that person that you're bouncing things off. And I just saw Rick in Texas just about 2 weeks ago. And the other thing I noticed about him, and this is what makes him so valuable, he is so present. He is so he's just like, Jim, tell me what's going on. And he's leaning in on that, on that table at a restaurant. And he is just listening. And he's listening because he's asking those follow-up questions. And it just makes you fall in love with the guy even more, because, this guy has just poured so much life into me. I'm just so grateful for him. He is a huge inspiration to me. And I'll never forget all that Rick has done for me.
Wow. When you get this recording, you need to just clip that part and send it to him, because, sometimes and I know this is in life general, not just in leadership, but in life, we don't know the impact that we're making on people, and we're praying that, and we're hoping that it's a positive impact, but, because it can be negative. So you want to have that positive impact, and, having confidence in someone, like you said, and telling someone you believe in them, and then being present so that they know you're that one person that,
Yes.
they've got your 100% attention. So
Yeah.
wow.
That's a game changer right there when someone does that for you.
Yeah, no. Okay. So you've had a great teacher in Rick. Rick has come along and he's still teaching you, still pouring into you.
Yes.
I know every time I speak to you, I feel like I'm encouraged and I learn more. So Jim, you have the second career, if you will. How are you impacting others to help them become valuable leaders?
Yeah, so I'd say the greatest impact that I'm having is in two ways. First of all, with my with the formal coaching and consulting that I do,
Right.
is really leaning into people's natural talents. Like I mentioned earlier,
Right.
when people get those identified, when they realize, no, I really don't talk too much. Actually, my top talent is I'm a communication, and then showing them how to harness that talent and aim that talent towards their organizational purpose, or to aim those talents towards uh, achieving the things that they want to achieve. Maybe it be a promotion, a
Right.
new job, and being able to showcase their value, because that's what these talents are. It's like you're telling people and you're showcasing people, this is my value, and this is the value I can bring to your organization. That makes them deadly in
Right.
interviews,
Right.
and you can just see their confidence go up. And so and then helping them to, organizations and teams s- solve conflict and
Mm.
resolve conflict
Yeah.
by using their top talents,
Nice.
knowing when to pull some of them back, because that may not be what their brother and sister needs
Right.
in that moment with the team. Looking at the other person. One of the things we say in strengths-based psychology is assume positive intent.
Mm.
Assume positive intent. So
Love it.
if you, Velma, tick me off, you've done something to offend me in some way, rather than first going and thinking in my head, well, Velma, she's a villain, and instead of thinking that, instead start thinking like, if I know your talents, I can look at your talents and go, oh, that was just Velma. She just overdid this talent.
Right.
She
Right.
didn't, and it was her bringing the very best of who she is. It just wasn't what I needed at that point.
Right.
And now when I'm armed with that information, I can now approach you in a totally in a strengths based way that
Right.
sees you for who you are, not for what my brain would have originally said that you're not. And
Yeah.
so that has become, I think, really a really valuable tool and resource for people.
Mhm.
And then also, just as what's great too, is not only do I do that with my many clients that I have, but I do that just day in and day out with just the common interactions that I have with people,
Right.
my friends, my coworkers, the officers on my team, the ones that work for me. We have these coaching conversations all the time,
Yeah.
and to watch them blossom and explode, and where they get to see their value, and then to watch their careers develop.
Right.
That's just been incredibly rewarding for me.
Oh man, I love how you said assume positive intent,
Yeah.
and that only way you can do that is exactly like you said, Jim, you have to have the self-awareness of your own talents, and then understand the talents of others and the intent behind them so that you could stay positive versus, like you say, derailing your thoughts on
Yeah,
someone.
I
Yeah.
love what you said too. Like you said, you gotta first know you.
Hmm.
That is the essence of this entire process. Is
Yeah.
you're not going to be valuable to other people unless you know how to harness in your own talents,
Right.
your own triggers, your own values.
Hmm.
Once you know that, now you're in a great position to be leading other people,
Right.
because now you can share with people, hey, this is what I can do for you. Here's what I expect. Here's what
Right.
I'm hoping for.
Right.
And I want to hear what you value, and you help people take them through that process.
Mm.
For them, yeah, you got to first know thyself
Yeah.
first,
Right.
but before you dive into the whole leadership thing. But once you
Exactly.
do, oh, it can be the hardest but most rewarding job.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I know that not only being a student of leadership and then teaching others, coaching and consulting with Gallup and the Strength Finders, you also you're an author and you have a book
Yes,
right
ma'am.
here. I hope
Oh,
you have, of
how'd you get
course.
a hold of that?
I know. And actually reading it, that's the craziest thing, and underlining some stuff here. I love this photo that you have in here. You're kissing this person. Beautiful one. It's on page 7, but yeah, so yeah, that one. And
Yes, there she is, my
yeah, there
beautiful
she is,
bride.
the love of your life. But tell everybody about the book, The Art. Tell them
Yeah.
about
So yeah, so the arch is basically based on this single metaphor, which is your life is an arch. Build it
Right.
strong for yourself and for those that you lead. And so I'm using that metaphor because life is nothing but one storm after another. We were
Mm,
talking earlier, Velma, about some of the storms that you've faced,
yeah, yeah,
recently. And
yeah.
it does. It just seems like I mean, if you're not currently going through a storm right now,
Yep.
you either just got done with one, or there's one lurking right around
Getting
the
ready
corner.
for one. Yes.
That's the ebb and flow of life. And
Right.
so I wanted to write a book that uses this metaphor of a Roman arch, because the Roman arch is the strongest man-made structure.
Wow.
It's able to withstand an enormous amount of pressure. But at the same time, it's adaptable. It's a beautiful structure. When you look at those characteristics, you start to think like, that sounds a lot like a human being.
Mm,
They can take a lot of pressure.
right.
They can adapt, but they can also be really, really strong, and they can also be forgiving when things hit them. And so, using that metaphor, that your life is this arch. Well, an arch works because of 3 key components, and those 3 components are the abutments, the kind of the substructure, the
Hmm.
stones that make up the arch, and then the most important piece, which is the keystone. And that if you build your life around these 3 key elements, these 3 key metaphorical elements, you're now in a really, really good position, that you've built your life into something strong,
Right.
healthy, and human.
Right.
And now you're in a good position to lead. So not only will you withstand your storm, but you can lead others through their storms as well.
So tell us, I love it. I mean, it's the framework for leadership and life. It's not just in business, but it's applicable, in your life. Where did the idea come from about the art?
Yeah, thanks
Arch.
for
Yeah.
asking that, because um, where it came from, of all places, was I was reading Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning.
Got it.
If you haven't read this book, run, don't walk to go get it. It is a great book. It's one of the most significant, profound books ever written. And Viktor Frankl was a psychologist who taught under, or who studied under Freud.
Hmm.
And Freud at the time really believed that man's meaning, existence, and purpose, a human's existence and purpose, was basically pleasure, hedonism,
Mm,
basically. And Frankl was like, nah, I don't agree with that. I think there's something more.
right.
Well, unfortunately, Viktor Frankl was thrown into a Nazi war camp,
Yeah.
lost his entire family, lost his manuscript of all his work that he was using to, to build up his own theory on what he thought was man's purpose and meaning in life.
Right.
And anyway, he survives and writes this amazing book. And he came up with a philosophy, or psychological theory, which was called logotherapy, which logo means meaning,
Right.
which was meaning therapy. And he believed that you could solve most mental ailments, like things like depression, anxiety,
Right.
that you could solve a lot of those by just helping people find their meaning and their purpose in life.
Mm,
And there was one key line in that book
hmm.
where he said, every great architect knows that if you want to fix a decrepit arch, you must apply more pressure. And that made zero sense to me when I'm like, whoa, you mean, because he was using this kind of metaphor that he's talking about treating people that are going through pain and
Right.
adversity. These are broken people that
Yeah.
he's trying to help and to heal. And he's saying, add more pressure. And I'm like, oh, that just did not make sense to me. So
Right.
it caused me to research. Well, if every architect knows this, then I want to know this. Like, what is it that you can actually add more pressure, and this arch won't
Arch.
crumble, it won't
Right.
collapse.
Right.
And so it caused me to just do an enormous amount of research into how an arch works. And it is so simple. It's so simple. And when you see it and you realize, you're like, oh my gosh, it works. It totally
Yeah.
works.
Wow.
Yeah. The pressure is actually not weakening you. It's actually strengthening you.
Yeah.
And I go over that in the book in
Oh
detail.
man,
It's fun.
I love it. Yeah, the arch is actually not weakening, getting weaker when it's applied pressure. It's actually getting stronger.
Yes.
Awesome. No, this is great. And this is available on Amazon, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
so it's sold out on Amazon, and they're
Okay.
sometimes they're not a knock on Amazon. They're not the easiest thing to
Right.
navigate.
Right.
So the other place that people can find it is at thearchbook.com.
Right. Yeah. And if they get it from there, does it come with your autograph on it like this
Yeah,
one or
yes, they will get a message just like you did, a goofy little letter in there
love it.
as well. And yeah, no, I try to make it as personal as possible to
Yeah, no, you absolutely did. I still have all of the components, the letter. I also, you'll get this cool little brochure that tells you about his company, Jim's company, Breaking the Chain Consulting. So breakingthechainconsulting.com. And then I remember I got the little boxing key ring. So you
yeah, the boxing glove knockout employee disengagement.
yes, I have it. It's in my drawer there. So I
Oh, that's awesome.
should have bought it out here, but yes. Okay, so we've talked about great things. My third question is really, people are looking for, give me one big thing that I could take away from you, Jim, from this conversation, from this chat. Give me one big thing I could take away that's going to help me become more valuable. What would that be from
I
you?
think the most valuable thing that any leader or aspiring leader, if they understand this, um, this just sets the stage and it's the platform for their success.
Right.
The single most important thing in any organization is it's not the CEO, it's not you as the leader,
Mhm.
it's not the manager, it's not the director, it's not supervisors. It is the team.
Mm,
The team is the most important thing, and which means that the leader who's responsible for caring for that team,
right.
you've got to create good conditions. You've got to create the right conditions for this very precious resource because the team is where all the work is getting done. The team is where
Mm,
all the real live
right.
data is
Mm.
happening. This is where
Yeah.
the creativity and the ideas come from. And if you understand that idea that they are the most important thing, this team is. Now, it doesn't mean like our team silos itself from the other teams in the organization.
Right.
It's just that when we get together, we're the most important thing working toward a common purpose.
Right.
And then just the last thing I would say about the team that's just so fun, and heard me talk about conditions. The condition that you've got to get right is, people are never more present than when they're having fun.
Yes.
People are never more present than when things are playful.
Yes.
So don't make an environment that's tense and
Yeah.
stressful because when that happens, they're just looking over their shoulder and they're just in survival mode.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't want that. If you want the best ideas and creativity and talents pointed towards a common purpose,
Mhm.
you can only get that by having a fun and playful environment. And I don't mean you have to be funny.
Right.
Um,
Right.
you
Right.
just you just need to be
You
light
have
and loose and fun and
right.
playful. We
Mm,
joke with one another, and
right.
that if we do play games, we're doing it with purpose and intent to learn and to grow as a team. So
Mhm.
that would be the two key things. I know you said one. I'm throwing in
No, I
throwing
love
in
it.
two.
That's okay.
Yeah,
But it
which
all
is
centers around the team. It all
yeah, it's
centers
yeah, just the most important thing is the team, and be playful with the team because that's
right.
what's going to create them to be very, very present.
Right. And it's a playfulness in purpose with intent, as Jim said.
100%.
It's, getting things done. But when we do it with a sense of, having some fun or having, humor in there, people their guard goes down, they
Yeah.
feel more inclusive, they feel like they belong, they're willing to share ideas because they're not concerned about being rejected.
Yep.
They feel very comfortable. So hands down to that. This is my time when I always jump in and I say, do you have anything that you're having in your cup today? Mine is tea. I'm having some hot tea. Usually it's coffee.
T- Today was just a glass of water.
A glass of water, oh
Boring
my
yet
friend.
necessary.
Yeah, no problem. As long as it's safe to drink. And I always share something, whatever I have on my mug. And so today it says every girl needs coffee today. You got this, baby. So this is every girl needs tea right now. And for those that are listening, you got this, baby. So
I
that's my
love it.
little share on the cup. And so Jim, how can our listeners contact you, stay close to you, learn from you. You know, and we talked about getting the book, but tell us how we can stay connected to you. Let everybody know. How do they
Yeah.
do?
So, you know, people can visit me at my website, which is breakingthechainconsulting.com. We're a leadership and team consulting business where our sole purpose is to help put an end to employee disengagement and build strong, healthy, and purpose-driven teams. You can also follow me or look me up at thearchbook.com, which is a great place to order the book.
So as you connect with Jim, you'll be able to know when and what he's doing next. And he also puts up some great videos. So check him out. He's got some words of wisdom there. Jim, I can't thank you enough for wanting to spend some time with a little chat and just talk leadership shop with me. Hey, thanks so much for watching another episode of Your Leadership Chat. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button here and tap that bell icon so that you never miss another episode. I hope too that you'll give us a thumbs up on the video for a like. And then if you feel led, please share the video with those who need to see it. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Your Leadership Chat. Bye for now.